Infrastructure is also about giving an impetus to the local economies that are there across the whatever the infrastructure network is. So, for example, on Samruddhi, MSRDC has already been planning to develop economic nodes where people don't need to come to Mumbai, don't need to go to Pune or these big hubs to have jobs. In fact, we can develop these economic hubs where whatever they are good at, let's say they are growing certain crop which is doing very well there, they can develop a local processing infrastructure over there. So we have, because we have so much land along the highway, MSRDC owns a lot of land. We are planning to develop small economic hubs all across the highway, 700-kilometer highway. So it's 1400 kilometers because on the one side, 700 kilometers. So both the sides, you have this possibility along its 1400-kilometer patch that you can develop these economic hubs, which can really transform not just the rural economy, but also it can bring to forefront what these local economies offer and what these local people offer. So what we are doing with Samruddhi is we are creating an entire green zone in and around the highway, 700 kilometers highway on both the sides. And for that, we are planting 33 lakh plants across the highway. So in the median, in the middle, and on the avenues on both the sides, there's going to be multiple layers of plants. And the idea is not just plantation. The idea is to create the infrastructure that sustains those plants, that sustains that various species of plants. We got the species vetted by the Botanical Survey of India, so that they are species that are indigenous. They are not fruiting species because otherwise you might have animals who can come on the highway. Apart from that, we did an entire study to understand the kind of irrigation that will be required to support. Because there are a lot of patches in this highway where there's hardly any manpower you can have to sustain those trees. So we are laying the entire drip of more than 14,000 kilometers across this highway. There's going to be almost 89 different automated irrigation centers. So basically the entire thing is automated. So you're going to be we can sit at my dashboard. I can see how much irrigation, how much drip irrigation was done on that day. We also want to in fact tag our trees. All the trees we want to monitor every year what is the growth, so that we know exactly what is the mortality ratio, how many plants are surviving, what are the different conditions in which they survive. For the wildlife, what we've done is across the highway there are 97 different passage points for the wildlife that is moving across. So you can imagine almost every less than 10 kilometers there's a passage point for the wildlife that needs to move from this area, from this side to the other side. And we have captured wildlife now using these points to actually go across the highway. So we were very happy to see few months back, we captured a lot of shots. We have put trap cameras there so that you can see what wildlife is traveling across the highway. So slowly the wildlife will also understand where they have to move to, and it will naturally become a passage for that to go through. In fact, these passages have been designed in such a way that so there is a lot of noise on the highway because of the vibrations that the cars create or the vehicles create. So these different 97 points have been sound barriered so that when the animals, they don't get afraid to pass through it, so they can use it. So this kind of thought has gone into it.
I believe infrastructure development is very much essential to bring in the equity among all the people. Everybody has right to have a better quality of life. Our focus is that how do we grow, but we do not grow in emissions. That's the challenge. So this is a technical challenge and it is also a financial challenge. So first let us address, because if something is not financially viable, believe me, I have seen in 30 years, nobody is going to do it. For love of whatever you say, nobody is going to do it. Even everybody we are doing in job, we require increment at the end of the year. Is it big? So that's a fact. So we need to find financially viable solutions at the current stage. But we need to look for those technological innovations which is currently not financially viable, could be scalable in the future, and that becomes a solution. So when we look at those financially viable solutions, we are taking a lot of initiative in managing energy the way it can be sustainable. And that is where renewable energy plays an important role. I call it energy is prosperity. I possibly talked in the video that energy is required for life, but energy is prosperity. We want to prosper, we want to have more energy. Question is, can we have sustainable energy? So that is where if you look at JSW Energy, when I joined 4 years before, we were having 70% access to thermal and 30% renewable. Now we have 70% renewable and 30% thermal. And we are focusing on all kind of renewable energy. But I believe as technology moves forward, fusion technology is going to be the solutions to the energy, the growing energy need that world we have. Because energy need is going to tremendously increase. So if that happens, possibly the steel making will be much easier in terms of emissions. Although you feel steel industry is energy intensive, but please note that steel industry is necessary to manage the emissions reductions as well. You put a thermal, you put a solar panel, you put a wind turbine, you need steel. You put tomorrow we are sitting in Mumbai very near to the sea. It is expected to increase the sea by 2050, possibly the sea level would have been raised, and government of Maharashtra has already taken the initiative by climate cell to start thinking about climate resilience. Possibly you will see the structure being built around the seashore to protect this water where we are staying. There also you make Syrian cement. And by the way, we also produce cement. Okay, and our cement has the lowest carbon footprint in all the cement industry in the world, not only in India. My understanding when I talk to the customers, I understand they are looking for steel made with low emissions. Because fundamentally steel is made by adding carbon. Otherwise you drop in iron. So the question is that how we can emit less and only put that much of carbon which is needed to make iron to the steel. So customers are demanding that, and that is where various things are now in the process to develop. I don't think by end of the decade you can really get physically very low level of carbon emissions in the steel productions. The only way, just to give you fundamentals, when you take iron ore, that is oxides of iron, you remove oxygen by putting carbon, right? So the only candidate which can take out oxygen besides carbon is hydrogen. Now that is why we talk when the steel industry to use green hydrogen. And green hydrogen, if I use and make steel, I'm capable of giving that today also. But nobody is ready to pay for 3 times the cost. So until the cost become equal, it's not going to happen. And my assessment, even with the make steel, which is Sweden is putting, it will take end of the decade to really get physically low amount of the carbon in the steel products. So what we are trying to do right now to provide options to the candidate, to our customers, we are creating products, specific products, where we are allocating the savings to that carbon. So it's called book and bill. So this you will get right now, then we get this billing. As far as JSW is concerned, we have also declared and committed, you would have seen in the media, we are putting a 4 million ton dedicated low carbon steel plant very close to Mumbai, right? So that possibly would be a large scale low carbon steel plant in the world. We must grow, we must construct, we must build, which will create damage to environment, consumption of resources. At the same time, how do we, while creating equality, while removing poverty, we must not damage environment, or maybe at a rate which we can manage. It starts obviously from the top as per the norm that starts from the top. And along the way, I took advantage of that, maybe a 3, 4, 5 dozen of programs, initiatives to take care of the environment, for the health, welfare, other facilities for the workers, for the societies. I can list a lot. But I think that the best thing is has to be a really original, pure commitment from the top. And then someone has to be there to utilize that leeway to create an environment where probably I can list out maybe 10, 12 initiatives which are unique, that none of our labor camp is without a solar light in the streets. It's a norm. Because it's doable. We conducted a study long back for assessing our carbon footprint of a standard project in Mumbai Central. It was 55,000 carbon metric tons of carbon.
Out of that, 95.16% is Scope 3, steel and cement. So as a fraternity, built environment, we have limited scope. The second largest consumed thing for material in the world is concrete after water. Right? Cement, I mean, the CO2 emissions 45%. And it will continue. As we go any increase, we have to manage it. We have to reduce the impact. Practices, we can focus on for attaining those 4.5%. We have a dedicated program called each site should plant this many trees, and I monitor them with the coordinates. I have a coordinate of 8,649 trees which are across our sites. And that is measured at the end of the year, not on the month of 5th of June. It is next year they will give me coordinates. I want a photograph, and that's how we ensure that it's really there's nurture. So the real thing we are doing, now none of our labor camp are having conventional toilets, all biotoilets. There are maybe aberrations, I don't deny that, but that's the policy. We have a scheme of zero discharge water labor camp in 2014. And few of them we were able to do it, but we also have limits because it needs a lot of investment. So we ideologically, we are probably way ahead or at par with the what world does, but we have our limitation as a contracting compliance. So commitment is there, which is a requirement everywhere. We are trying to do within the limits whatever we can do. And awareness is probably across, right, from the worker, because our worker, for the buzzword are three. I said, Romesh and Ishwar. Romesh is for my employees, which is respect, own, and manage ESH in their domain. It is for the engineer. And Ishwar, each site tells about ESWER. I say, either save work, else refuse it. And I have photographs of workers sitting and making Ishwar at each site. So they know about it. If it is unsafe, they won't work. They're empowered for them. They are encouraged to stop the work. So that's a part of ESG or SDG, you can say.
8 out of 10 planetary boundaries, or 6 out of 9 planetary boundaries have already been breached, and one of it is clearly the emissions. Now, where technology comes into picture is this. We have a situation where the problems have to be solved not just by one single community or a few organizations. The problem has to be solved by nearly every participant in the economic activity. And the solution must start not tomorrow, but it should start today. Because you can't start yesterday, you should have started, but it must start today. So if you have to implement, what we are essentially saying is you have to implement solution to speed and to scale. And the only way it is possible is deploying digital technology. Because software can travel nearly at the speed of light, and software can be scaled. And that's also alluding to what Mr. Jingle said, that we actually incur a scalable solution. Now, your solution must certainly dovetail into a strategy. And the strategy for climate change or sustainability are 3 pillars. The first is decarbonization and energy efficiency. And second is resource efficiency and circularity. And third is people centricity and societal impact. So anything that we do must serve one of these 3 pillars. And Siemens, we are leaders in the technology, and we have digital technologies that provide sustainability solutions. And in a way that we also complement companies like Jindal to provide those ingredients and raw materials for infrastructure development. The scorecard of the climate scorecard of urban infrastructure or buildings in particular is, after all, not very good. Because we are energy guzzlers. Globally, about 60% of the energy is consumed by these buildings, and we are responsible for 60 to 70% of our emissions. We can certainly bring down through reducing energy consumption. So, like he would convert the supply sources from dirty source to a clean source, 70-30 mix being changed to 30-70-30 is thermal fuel and then 70 being renewable. We can reduce the electricity demand itself of the infrastructure. And how do you do that? And there are examples. The Indian Hotel Limited, the Taj property, so which we serve as a customer. So we have connected their assets that consume electricity. And the largest guzzler of electricity of any building you can guess is air conditioning. We can optimize chiller plants. And how do we optimize? You need digital technology. It's our brand, but there are also other brands available in the market, which is called as a chiller plant optimization software. But the point of this technology is that by technology, one single technology cannot give us a solution. It's not possible. You don't know what to do with the software. You need an entire gamut of technological suite to solve a problem, what we can call as a use case. So you need variable frequency drives, for instance. You need capabilities of mechanicals to reroute your piping systems, your primary and secondary. What we need to do is that we need to be able to harvest the important resource that's coming out of these assets over its life, which is the data. And the only way that can even harness this data is through digital technologies. So what we did is that we connected on these assets on a platform, and we call the platform as a BCOCC platform. And through this chiller plant optimization alone, we significantly reduce energy, and of the properties where we have implemented the solution, about 8 million units of electricity has been saved, and about 8 kilotons of carbon dioxide has been reduced annually. And the best part of this digital technology solution is that it can also be scaled. One of the evidences that it can be scaled is that the same technology is also deployed in Bangalore International Airport. There, for the entire airport, we optimize the chiller plant. The chiller plant is the only technology optimization that was implemented, along with the other peripherals, what he said. And we were able to save annually about 2.5 million tons of energy and about 2,500 tons or 2.5 kilotons of carbon dioxide annually. So our message is that this is a topic which does not rest with only the government or only the infrastructure company. Everyone has to act, as I said, because everyone needs to be a participant in the solution finding, because the problem is created collectively by the humanity. And therefore, it's not fair that only a few guys are solving this problem.